Hi everyone, Esper here. Today we'll be going through the Flame King raid patch released on the 22nd of November. This patch introduces the Flame King raid, as well as the final Transcension tiers for the Flame King gear introduced in the previous patch. The raid pre-quest is accessible after clearing the previous FK solo questline. This quest is picked up from the Reverse Dream Theater. It doesn't require any dungeon runs, and involves purely reading through some story. Once you hit the end of the pre-quest, the FK raid will be opened from the raid machine, i.e. the command subjugation supporter LeBlanc here. Like FK Solo, the raid will once again drop two different raid materials: Blazing Fragments of Great, which is tradable on the black market, Firefox's Calling Tailfur, which is character bound. The method for claiming the raid reward is a bit different this time round. The system is similar to the demoted Beast King and Machine King raids, but entry will be unlimited. In order to claim rewards, you will need to craft this Flame King Advanced Party Token. This is available from any crafting machine. It's then used to cash in the rewards after you cleared the Flame King raid. This makes the FK raid extremely flexible, as the token can be created once per week for each character. Additionally, it can be moved with the Grimoire dimensional box, meaning that you can transfer tokens to characters that need the FK raid materials as long as you have a sufficient number of Grimoire boxes. The only requirement for crafting this token is level 90, so you can use mules or characters that you don't play to craft the token as well. As for the actual raid gear we'll be crafting, we have tier 6 and tier 7 Flame King cores. A tier 7 core is currently the second best core in the game. It is only beaten by Red Bastet or Red BK core. Remember to always take the variant that gives 50% extra crit damage at the cost of 10% attack speed. For physical, this is the Brutal core. For Psi, it's Bright core. For hybrid, this is the Sharp core. Tier 7 mods are a direct upgrade from Tier 5 mods. I've covered the choices in the previous FK solo patch overview video. To summarize, everyone takes air, then chase or back depends on your character's force procs. Chase should be prioritized more, as most characters have more chase procs rather than back. Tier 7 amplifier is also just a single upgrade from T0. This is currently the second best amplifier in the game. The only better amp is the red amp that drops directly from FK raid and can't be crafted. Just a reminder not to delete your DEG amp, as you can still use it for the 100% dragon damage for specific content, like mock battle or conquest. For amp choice, I recommend taking air, that is bolt, if you are unsure. Some characters can opt into back and chase amps, but air is 100% the safest choice if you don't know. The cost of the gear upgrades is pretty standardized this time as well. Since the blaze fragments can be traded, I'll be using the Nyane tail plugs to determine the amount of time taken. The reward per week is 210 blaze fragments and foxtails. Clearing the quest for the first time grants another 210 of both materials, so your first week of the raid is essentially double drop. Assuming we're using 100% craft without elixirs, each piece of tier 7 gear will use 225 foxtails. The core has this cost split up between the T6 and T7 upgrades. The mods and amp are one-time upgrades. So this adds up to 900 foxtails overall for T7 core, 2 T7 mods and a T7 amp. This means around 4 weeks to complete the gear. On the accessory side, each accessory will use 400 foxtails. It's 4 accessories, but you only need to build 3, so this is another 1200 foxtails, adding another 6 weeks for accessory completion. Of course, this can be circumvented by using the Grimoire dimensional box to transfer more tokens to your character running FK, allowing you to claim multiple sets of rewards in a single week. For gear priority, the amp gives the most gain for minimal investment. Core and mods can be done in any order, but mods have to be both done at the same time, as they are not compatible with MK mods. Now on to the actual raid. This raid is relatively light on mechanics, so you'll be predominantly focusing on dodging and iframing basic red AoEs. For new players who haven't played through Ocean King, Machine King or Beast King raids prior to their demotion, the Flame King raid has limitations on reviving and potion usage. The resurrection limit is 2, and potions are limited to 10. The potion limit is applied separately for heal over time and instant recovery potions. These limits are for the entire raid and are not restored after clearing Gild. Additionally, this raid has a dungeon skill system similar to A12's Lucifer fight. Dungeon skill points are charged by player skill usage and player deaths, and each skill has a predetermined cost. Only the party leader is able to use these skills, and they must be alive to do so. If the party leader is permadead, you basically lose access to any dungeon skills, so be careful. From left to right we have Resurrection, which revives all dead party members disregarding the revive limit. Can be clutch if your party leader is the last man standing. Invincibility, this iframes the entire party for 10 seconds. Not really worth the cost for most of the fight, usable in the last 20 bars of the Prometheus fight to avoid the wipe move. Infernal damage plus cleanse, the main skill that the party leader should be using throughout the fight. It's possible to have 100% uptime on this buff, but it is annoying to track as the buff given has a generic buff icon, making it difficult to see when you're focusing on the fight. The cleanse is helpful for Gild's stacking mechanic. Direct damage, cutting down 5% of the boss's health is not worth the cost. You'd rather be casting the stun skill over this one. Stun, a very important skill to skip a long mechanic at Prometheus. You can also use it during the 20 HP bar finale to buy more time for your party. In most runs, you'll only be expecting to use the infernal damage buff and stun skills, as the other three are either too niche or not worth the skill point cost. Now onto the run itself. There are only a few major mechanics throughout the fight. If you would like a closer look at the standard attack patterns for both Gild and Prometheus, please see Csha's video linked in the description. We start with 2 waves of trash mobs, which should be trivial for any party. After clearing them, party members will be randomly teleported to 2 different arenas to fight human Gild and fox Gild. In a party of 4, there should be 2 on either side, but I have heard of bug distributions where you get 3 people on human and 1 person on fox. In a party of 3, it's always 2 on human and 1 on fox. In a duo, it's 1 person on either side, and when soloing, you are always sent to human. The side distribution seems completely random, so you won't be able to tell who is going where. Currently, as of the making of this video, there is a bug where the portal to the other boss does not spawn. The portal will never spawn on the human side, and will occasionally not spawn on the fox side. So if party members sent to the fox side cannot clear, you may have to restart for a better distribution. The main mechanic with both human and fox Gild is a stacking debuff that is applied to your character when hit with their abilities. Each stack increases your damage taken by about 2%, which can add up throughout the fight if not cleansed. The infernal damage skill can be used to cleanse the debuff, so as long as the party leader is consistently casting this dungeon skill during the fight, the stacks shouldn't get too out of hand. After about 15 seconds into the fight, we'll have the colored balls mechanic. This mechanic is entirely played from the human side and will require cooperation from both party members. Human Gild will go invulnerable and summon 3 portals. 1 set of fireballs will head towards her. Do not block any of these fireballs. Note down the color of the fireballs, they will either be orange or blue. When the second set of fireballs spawn, you will now need to block the fireballs of the opposite color. Each fireball wave will spawn 2 fireballs of the opposite color, so both players need to block 1. The same color fireball needs to go through to Gild, so try to avoid it. We have 3 lanes to cover, left, middle and right. My recommended way to solve this mechanic with your partner is to set up on the left and right like so. As you see the fireballs coming in, you block your lane if it has an opposite color fireball. If your lane has the same color fireball, you move to block the middle lane instead. This should keep it simple and avoid situations where both players try to block the same lane. A single mistake fails this mechanic, but thankfully the punishment isn't a wipe. It still does a lot of damage though, so I would still recommend playing the mechanic properly if you can. One other thing is that it is possible for this mechanic to repeat during the fight. After this, the next mechanic happens when the fox reaches 50%, and we'll get an overload shield. Unlike the FK solo bosses, this shield is actually damage based, so it can be broken without using Phase Awakening. You can still use it to break the shield faster though. Once the overload shield is broken, both bosses are stunned and will take extra damage during the stun. Human Gild will repeat the overload mechanic sometime afterwards. This is resolved in the same way by dealing damage to the shield, and after you break the shield, the stuns will happen again. There's no more mechanics after this, so the remainder of the fight is just dealing with basic attacks from Gild. If any side finishes their boss first, a portal will open up, allowing party members to teleport to the other side to help finish off the remaining boss. Unfortunately, this feature is currently bugged and the portal will only spawn on the fox side at the moment. If you're unlucky, the portal won't even spawn at all. Hopefully this will be fixed in a future patch. After defeating Gild, we'll move into another trash mob hallway, dispatch them and move on to the Prometheus boss room. Prometheus will open with a bunch of iframeable AoEs, so just watch out as you're approaching him. He has 3 main hitboxes, his right arm, chest and left arm. The backside for each hitbox is different as shown. Typically, most players hug the left arm as it has the most accessible back hit angle, but you can basically pick any of the 3 hitboxes. The chest hitbox is slightly off the ground, so I would not recommend going for the chest as a grounded character. At 84 bars, he will start charging a ball of fire in the middle of the map. This mechanic can be rather RNG as he can be stuck in the middle with no way out of the vacuum effect. The ball of fire does damage over time and eventually explodes, pushing anyone inside the circle off the map and into the lava. The knockback can be cancelled out of, so it's not a guaranteed kill. Do note that he will continue to use this attack throughout the rest of the battle. At 70 bars, we enter the prism mechanic. Here, one person at random will be given a blue aura. Touching this person will teleport you inside one of the flame shields on either side of the arena. After a certain amount of time, the blue aura will disappear, and a randomly placed portal will spawn in the arena. The aura person needs to take this portal to teleport into the flame shield. Alternatively, if they're a character with a dash like Luna or Seth, you can dash into the shield without the use of the portal. This mechanic can be kinda buggy at times. Sometimes the blue aura person will be teleported into the shield at the beginning. Other times you might not even get teleported if you hug the aura. There is a save spot at the top left of the arena here, so you can basically ignore this mechanic. Ideally though, this is where the party leader uses the stun dungeon skill. As Prometheus is completely invulnerable during this mechanic, we just want to stun him and skip it to save a lot of time. At 50 bars, he'll charge 2 balls in his hands. Simply destroy one of these balls to proceed. The balls don't seem to share damage, so just focus on one. It's a very light DPS check regardless. At 38 bars, he'll stab his spear into the ground towards the bottom of the stage. This is another light DPS check, so just destroy the spear. The backside of the spear is on the left if you're unaware. At 30 bars, he'll conjure a firebird that crashes into the arena as an iframe breaker move. You'll need to perfect dodge this to avoid damage. This attack doesn't usually one-shot, so it's not mandatory to dodge it. After this, a red targeting reticule will appear on a random party member, and they'll be hit with a bunch of firebirds. The birds can be iframed, so just keep an eye out for it if you are low on health. The firebird damage is not too bad, but it can chunk if too many birds hit you at once. The red targeting reticule is also hard to see at times due to the color palette of the boss arena. At around 20 bars, we'll enter another cutscene and you'll be hit with an unavoidable attack from Prometheus. This seems to deal around 70% of your HP pool for a recommended TCP character, so either be topped up before he hits 20 bars or just save your ult for this. There is a small timing window before your character becomes cutscene locked, so you don't need to buffer it before 20 bars and can just do it as the cutscene starts. After the cutscene, we enter the finale where the boss will pepper the field with a lot of AoEs. This is a bit of a DPS race, as after about 20 to 30 seconds, he'll initiate a wipe move. If you have the points charged, the party leader can either use the invincibility skill or stun him to buy more time. Once he is brought down to 0, the fight is won. And that's it for the Flame King raid. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember to join the Nyane cult. Until next time.